Fire officials at the state and local levels keeping a close eye on those conditions Ross mentioned for this weekend. Sean Logging is talking with the Kansas Forest Service about what they're monitoring. Sean?
Rachel, while the fields are greening up, there's still a lot of dry grass and brush out there, and with the winds expected for tomorrow, if a fire starts, it will quickly pick up and spread and potentially get out of control. As Ross mentioned, a system moving through the state Saturday will bring with it strong winds gusting 50 to 60 miles an hour. The low humidity makes it favorable for fires to start easily. The Kansas Forest Service is communing with other state agencies and local departments about conditions, and also reaching out about prevention. With this time of year sees prescribed burning happening across the state, so starting new fires is not advised, especially this weekend.
Quickly exceed any capacity or capability to hold the fire. But most importantly is getting out there and checking it. You may have lit that fire 2 or 3 days ago. You need to be out there checking it, especially those downwind perimeters of your burn unit, to make sure that there isn't a heavy log or a tree that continues to hold some heat.
Oh, car's coming. The Kansas Forest Service does contract with pilots and airplanes for firefighting efforts, but on strong wind days like we are expecting this weekend, their effectiveness makes it harder to use, both with the effectiveness of water drops and for finding an airport for the planes to safely land in the strong winds.
Thank you, Sean.